Our next author has over 20 years of experience helping corporations and leaders grow their businesses. Her book is called Leadership Through Trust and Collaboration, Practical Tools for Today's Results-Driven Leader. Jill Ratliff. Jill, come on out here. Well, you're clearly not a baseball player, but I feel like, a basketball player, but I feel like we need to do a shout out because you do have athletes in your life too, right?
I do. Thank you. My son is a professional lacrosse player with the Premier Lacrosse League, and they are performing in Atlanta, Georgia tomorrow night. Come on out to the stadium, guys.
I love it. So many connections, I think, among the authors here, whether it's backgrounds in, the healing arts, business connections, and then fun things like professional athletes in the family. So love making those connections. I think most of us writers feel alone. People write their books alone and they're not connected. And your book is all about collaboration. So I want to talk about how being a part of a community and the collaboration can help overcome obstacles. Let's talk first about your book, Leadership Through Trust and Collaboration. What is that about and who is it for?
So as an executive vice president of human resources for over 20 years, I have coached literally thousands of executives. And I'll tell you what I know for sure. The vast majority of them want to be great leaders. Regardless of how it may look to you in an organization, they are working their asses off, frankly, and they're trying to be great. And further, many of my friends and colleagues are heads of human resources, or they're heads of talent development or leadership development. And I know, like me, they care as much as I do about developing leaders for their organization, because we know that great leaders create great cultures, and great cultures drive great business results. And we all want to have impact. So the problem or the challenge with that is that the world's changed around us. The rate and pace of change today has largely due to technology, has created a different world. And business transformations, man, they are the norm. They come at you hard and fast, and one doesn't even finish before the next one starts. And this environment has really created so much stress for our employees and, honestly, for our leaders too. And teaching our leaders how to be their best selves in this crazy ass environment that we work in now is why I wrote this book.
I love that. So powerful. So I want to talk about you've been doing this work for a long time, but you made a commitment like 4 or 5 months ago to actually commit to writing a book. So what was it that made you make that commitment? What do you need to do when you know you need to be writing, but you just don't feel like doing it? How did you make that commitment and then actually do it?
So there's really two things. The first thing is because my brother, who I did lose after a major battle with cancer, sort of woke me up around, and he did a lot of work in the leadership field as well. And he kind of woke me up to what really matters about leadership, and the fact that we do it because we love it and because it's what we're meant to do, and we're making it way more complicated than it is. So that was one reason. And the second reason was because I care so much about leaders really being healthy, happy, and successful on top of being great at what they do. And it was just, and I think some of the ways we go about leadership development is missing some of the big points. And so, and the biggest, you're probably going to ask me, so what's that big point? Yeah. So the biggest point is you can't lead anyone else till you can lead yourself. And you really have to understand who you want to be as a leader before you can figure out how to do it. And it's not as hard to figure that out as you think if you're willing to sort of confront and face your fears and do some relatively simple things to get in front of your stress level and your.
Where do you think this book would be if you weren't a part of the author's way and it was 4 months after you made the commitment to write it, but you didn't have the collaboration and the trust of this community?
That is such an easy question. This book would freaking not exist. That's just the truth of it. I mean, people who work with me and know me know that I don't even write long emails. I don't even write emails. I talk. And so the idea, honestly, of writing a book, particularly one so close to my heart, was really out of the question until I met you and until I got into the author's way and got a lot of incredible guidance about how to do this.
So I know that I coached you because I remember doing a little coaching there. But who are some of the other people on this journey for you that helped you?
Yeah, I'll start out with Aura, who was my development editor. And man, she had massive patience because I was not going there in the beginning.
We pushed you hard.
I was not going there around how to do a book like this. And she was extraordinarily patient. And then I've got to say Todd, too, because Todd was my second editor, my actually writing editor. And similarly, your confidence is not as high as it, could be. And then when you have an editor like Todd tell you, this is good stuff and you can do this, it made...
And Todd came to us from Simon & Schuster, so he knows a thing or two about it.
Stuff, yeah. And they were just great. And honestly, everybody at the Author Incubator are rock stars at their jobs, and they make this so easy, and it is not easy.
The way I always think of it is that we're doing a group project, and we're all on the same team. So we do think of you guys as like clients, and we call you like authors, and that has a special role, but it's not the only role on the team because it can't be done alone. Like trying to write a book alone in your room, a book that's going to make a difference, it's very, very rare that somebody can do that. Not because they're not amazing at what they do. I know you're amazing at what you do, but because you're not amazing at what we do. Like it really takes a team, and I think that's true in the business environment too. It is. I think this book is just such a great lesson for anyone who wants to get stuff done. Results-driven leader. I consider myself that. This is leadership through trust and collaboration. That's how we do it with our authors. Practical tools for today's results-driven leader. It is by Jill Ratliff. Thank you so much, Jill.